all, which I mean I would imagine it will, but we'll see. Okay, it says so. This says it's broadcasting, but the YouTube site has not changed. Oh no, it just started. So I'm gonna mute that one because that window is just gonna throw me off by hearing myself twice. And if you have that open, I suggest that you do the same, so there's no feedback and all that.
Yeah, I just muted it, so now I've got two beautiful pictures on my monitors of you.
All right, so I see there is just a little bit of a delay, which is a thing that one would expect for something like this. So let's make that one a little smaller, make this one a little equally small, and then this thing can take the full right side of the screen. And then there's the chat. All right, perfect.
Now, I like your webcam, but you're coming through a lot more clear than what I am. So you're going to have to give me one of those.
Yeah, this one, what is this? I think I just threw, no, I was about to say, I think I threw the box away already. But now it's just still here. It's the C920.
See, yeah, I've actually read a review on that one. I heard it was probably one of the best ones out there.
Yeah, because sometimes when you look at technology that's a little old,
yeah,
you don't know what to make of it. But sometimes like something is old, but it's still good. It's just old. And in this case, it's a few years old, but it's still solid,
Oh yeah.
But if you were to go out and you wanted like a new processor or something, you're probably gonna want something more current.
Right.
You're not gonna want.
No, I'll get that 970, pop it in.
Like if you go and you get a CPU from like 2014, whenever these things started coming around, you are going to be disappointed, like thoroughly disappointed. But anyway, but the one I had before this, I bought it last time I was here in Korea in like 2008, and so that was like, okay, this thing doesn't even do like HD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, it's time to move on. This is a nice camera. It has it's like the little globe sort of thing.
Yeah.
So if you have the software, like you can like click and like move this thing up and around and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing those back in the day.
Yeah, so I mean it's actually a pretty decently designed camera. It's just I figured I'd want something better quality wise.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, so I guess we'll get to what we're getting to here.
Right.
So what was it called? Stomping Ground or Stomping Ground. I don't remember if it was plural or not. Either way, yeah, Stomping Grounds, right? According to Wikipedia, the #1 source of information. So basically, it started with Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa. So, and I don't know how familiar you are with any of those guys, but back when I used to watch 205 Live, which was basically until I moved here, they were all pretty good on there.
I'm pretty sure Tozawa, he was actually on NXT before 205 Live, if I recall. I remember seeing him a little bit.
Actually, they may have all been. Well, I don't remember Drew Gulak, but I'm not going to say he wasn't there. I do not remember him. Because I don't know, because I don't know if they ever actually just brought people in straight to that or not, because I don't really remember when the show started, but either way, all three are pretty solid as far as like, wrestling goes and all that.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good match. I know you didn't see that one, but
yeah,
I would suggest it just because they try to put like a more action-packed match, like to really kick things off.
Yeah.
And, obviously, you're looking at the same site that I am, so spoiler is there.
Honestly, I have not looked at. I didn't do a lot of fine reading on that, so I don't even really know who won it. I just looked at what if there was anything before Becky Lynch.
Okay.
And so I didn't look into it because I did plan on going back and viewing that. I just couldn't get to it tonight.
Well, for the sake of talking about it, and since it's not a huge deal, you don't know any of the people or have the background of the match, which I didn't either. Drew Gulak did win, which I thought was awesome because for so long he'd been like right there, like thinking like, oh, he's gonna get to this next level, he's gonna be like the champ for some period of time, or at least win some big matches or something. And then it just never quite happened. But he was never like pushed further down. It didn't seem like he just didn't quite move up.
Yeah,
So
which is usually it's kind of like the reverse. Like if they start peaking like that and something happens, then they'll start going down instead of like just maintaining.
So somehow he managed to like stay relevant. I mean, and his character has changed a little bit over the years that he's been there, but he still is like one of the centerpieces, I guess, of the show. Obviously, since they decided to put the title on him.
Yeah,
but I am curious to see where it goes from here. There's nothing against Tony Nese or anything, but he's just more entertaining. The Gulak guy.
Yeah, yeah, and like 205, that's something I kind of want to watch more of. Anyways, I'm not really dove into it. Which, if I recall, like they do more of the high flying and risk taking and things like that. Yeah, which is very, very entertaining in my opinion. That's one of the first things that kind of drew me into wrestling, because I remember seeing Rey Mysterio and WCW, and Jeff and Matt doing their things with WWE.
Yeah, that was when I started watching, and I didn't know it at the time because I didn't really know the history of things, but I've heard about it later. So I guess around the time when I started watching Nitro, which I guess was when it was kind of new, that's when they were, I guess, Bischoff and whatever other people were involved. I think Conan was also involved, where it was like going and finding all like the Mexican guys, trying to bring them in like that, because it wasn't in America.
Yeah.
So WWF was all just like, the big Jake the Snake style big guys and stuff like that. So it was a nice change, definitely freshen things up. And so now they have their own show. And I mean, there are also people that don't do all the high flying and do like a lot of like they still do a lot of good wrestling though, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely just a style, and you can't have, I mean, they've done it. They've got a show where it is all that, but for like a main program, you can't. I don't think today is the day where you can have just that type of wrestling, or you have like the original like Warrior and Razor Ramon, that kind of wrestling.
Yeah.
So you gotta have some variety in there.
Oh, definitely. So but at the same time, it is also nice to see that they don't focus, at least last time I saw, they didn't focus too much on the stories either to make it where you're just like, is something going to happen, or am I just going to hear about something wanting to happen? When you spend like with Raw, you have like a 3-hour show and it's like 2 hours of backstory and promos and whatnot. And then there's like the one match that you kind of want to see in the last 2 minutes because nobody runs into interrupted so they can set up their match for next week.
Yeah. Which brings its own problems, and we could talk about that another time, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be another time. But moving on to the actual main card here, so where you jumped in, Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans, right?
Yep.
I will say that I had zero interest in that match. I like Becky Lynch, right? Most people, but I saw Lacey Evans a good bit towards the last couple months before I moved here on NXT, and she just didn't do anything for me. I feel like I also saw her live. I think she was at something that I went to, but I don't know, something about her thing. It just doesn't really like
her gimmick.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay, so I get it. She's like classy Southern lady, and okay, so that's it. All right.
Yeah. No. So my thing with her is, and I've caught a couple of matches here and there, and I just don't feel like her level of wrestling. I don't think she should be where she is. I think there's other wrestlers that would be better suited to be there, because I see Lacey. She'll botch so many things, and I've seen several of that during their match, and I'm just like, oh my god! And you could tell Becky was also getting frustrated with it.
Yeah. And then the Lacey sucks chant started, which were well.
Yes.
And like, cause I was thinking the same thing, you know, like the last match that I saw her in, I think it was like a triple threat or something with her and Charlotte was in there, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wait, no, it was her debut. It was one of her debut things, and she was like out there and she's like having her match with Charlotte. I think it's just like a one-on-one, and it was just like it wasn't good. You know, it was
Nah.
like I get okay, like you know, you're a little nervous because like now this is like your first night on Raw, so like a lot of people are seeing you, and there's that whole.
Mm,
But some of it was like, I mean, obviously that I'm not in there, so I don't really know, but I'm gonna say some of it was inexcusable on account of like the caliber of person that they would want on a show live,
yeah.
make people watch the show, right?
Yeah. I feel like she should maybe not put her back in NXT. I wouldn't mind for that to happen either, but you know, at least bump her down on that card and you know, kind of push somebody else up there to work with Becky because Becky's good, Charlotte's good, you know, Banks is good. There's a lot of good female talent out there, but they've got Lacey, and I've kind of it might be me and my opinions, but I kind of think it has something to do with whole Vince's like he's always wanted like a pretty blonde with the title around her belt.
When you look at her, like if you look at her, you're like, okay, I can see visually why they would want this lady around a lot, right?
Yeah.
But then you're like, okay, well, she's gonna be around a lot. Like, I'm not saying don't give her matches or anything, but like maybe not put the spotlight on those matches. So when they don't go so well, it's just like, well, it was just like an opening match on Raw, or it was just like on one of those like off day shows or something.
Yeah.
Let her like kind of build up eventually and then get there. And I will say, Carmella, right?
Yeah.
Like at first, I didn't care for her very much because she wasn't all that great either. But she got a lot better. Like by the time they put the belt on her the first time, it was like, wow, this chick's going places.
Yeah, and I had the same feeling with Carmella. Like they're pushing her a little bit, and I was just because I was watching NXT a lot around when like Enzo, Cass, and her they were all put together, and I was thinking, Carmella was like every time she came out, I was like, oh no, not you again, bring somebody else back out. But yeah, again, she's doing a lot better, and I think she's in a good spot right now with Truth. That guy's I've loved him for years. So
that guy is entertainment.
Yes.
All right, we're getting sidetracked.
Yeah.
The match itself, though, because of everything we talked about, was not good. And then it's like why is this happening? And then Becky put the little disarmor on her, and she tapped out immediately, which almost I don't know if there was a move to like make Becky look better or because it seemed like she just tapped out really fast.
Yeah.
It was like one of those TV tap outs where it's like you lock on the sharpshooter and then immediately they're done. Where did that match happen at like SummerSlam and be like you put it on and like there's like, oh my god, I gotta get to the ropes, and then
you gotta fight through it and everything.
Yeah, I thought they would do like the pay-per-view style ending, but nope. And I was fine with it ended that much faster.
Yeah, maybe Becky was like, I'm tired of this. You've already made this match bad enough as it is, so let's just end it.
It's been hurting her too. All right. Next up, tag match. So you never know what you're gonna get with those, But going into this one, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
I figured, all right, Owens and Zayn have been friends and whatnot for a long time, so they should have a pretty good thing going. And obviously, same goes for the New Day. So it seemed like a weird matchup because I haven't really watched lately, but I had pretty decent hopes for it, and it was better than I didn't expect it to be great, but I expected it to be good, and I think it was better than good, but not great.
Yeah. Okay. Like the start of it, I thought it was really good, especially like story building wise, because they had Sammy and Kevin come out there and just pretty much dominate for the first little bit, and keep Xavier Woods, classic tag team strategy, keep him in the corner, all that stuff. And I thought that was really good. That way when Big E comes in, you're going to get a big pop from the crowd, give him his moment to shine. But I kind of felt like that just kind of went on a little bit too long. Because I know Xavier was in there for a good solid minute. Just
in there a lot.
And so once Big E came in, I was definitely excited. But I feel like that first part of that, I feel like that could have been shortened up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it was getting to that point. I'm like, all right, come on. I know it's going to happen. Let it happen.
It's funny because, just looking at the thing here, it does seem like it was kind of a long match, but it was 25 seconds shorter than the women's match, the opening women's match. So it's I guess it wasn't that long.
Yeah, I see that right here. I did not notice that.
Because if you told me Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans was 25 minutes long, I'd be like, yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because you're sitting there, you're having to bleed throughout it, but
right. But I mean, at least in the end, though, it was a solid match, and I guess part of my expectations being high in a way is because those guys are generally so good, especially on their own or whatever, that they kind of make you expect more. But for what it was, for the type of thing it was and all that, solid, and I could see them continuing this, maybe having some more matches and then getting better and better, different stipulations or whatever.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good story to follow along with. I mean, that's something I would be interested in because all four of those guys are good, and New Day, they're entertaining no matter what.
That's the other.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the entertainment part of it. Both of these guys, I could listen to them talk for days.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I get you. I know Xavier does a lot of stuff outside of wrestling. I think he's got his own YouTube channel or something like that. But really? I've been meaning to look into that a little bit more. But entertainment, definitely New Day. They've got it. And then I think Kevin and Sammy, they just complement each other very well because they've got such a long history.
Right.
So I can see that building up into a couple weeks, maybe a couple pay-per-views of storyline between them.
Yeah, and I don't follow either of them, but from what I hear, Kevin Owens, Big E, Rusev, really, really hilarious on Twitter from what people say.
Yeah. So I might have to start following them.
Yeah. Every now and then I just see a clip and it's okay, this is funny.
Yeah.
So then Kevin Owens in the end hits the stunner on Xavier Woods, which was unexpected.
Yeah. It was a modified stunner too, which caught me off guard.
Yeah.
It was off the turnbuckle or whatever.
So he got him and picked up the win, which was good because it's not going to hurt New Day at all. They can bounce back from that. But I think Owens and Zayn kind of, not that they needed it, but it makes sense for them to have got that.
Yeah, especially if they're going to, keep going with a tag team and push them that way. They definitely would need that. I would say I was expecting New Day to win just because the way that it started off. It felt like it was going to be one of those uphill battles, pop out with a victory. So didn't end how I thought it would, but still good match. I'll have to say that.
Yep, I was with you, but it went how it went, no complaints. And then I saw because I didn't know any of the matches going in, other than when we briefly talked about it once. But I went in and saw the next thing up was Samoa Joe and Ricochet, and I'm okay, this. Just because the clash of styles, it makes it you really want to see it, you know what I mean? Because Samoa Joe's got if it said okay, it's gonna be Samoa Joe versus Vader or something, you'd be oh, this is gonna be a brutal match.
Yeah.
Ricochet versus like I don't know, Jeff Hardy or something, and this was like 10 years ago. You'd be like, okay, this is gonna be something special, right?
Yeah.
Mysterio still, but because they both do different things, it's like, okay, how's this gonna work? It's kind of like when you see like Shawn Michaels go against like, was it like Diesel or with Kevin Nash, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was interested to see how it all played out, and it was actually pretty good. You know, I wanted Ricochet to win. I really did because I've been a fan of the guy for a while.
Yeah.
But when he did, I didn't expect it to actually happen. It's just one of those like, I'd like to see this, and then it happens. Right? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even when he actually won it, I think there's a lot of acting in wrestling and whatnot, but I feel like the emotion that he had when it came time for him to grab that championship, I think that was just straight up like he's really enjoying that moment, living in it, and I feel like that was him and
Yeah.
not his character at that moment.
Because I mean, like, of course, when he hit like the 1, 2, 3, and it's like, oh my God, did I really do it? It's like obviously he knew he was going to do it, but like you said, when you get it, I feel like then you look at it, you're like, oh my God, like I'm like a main point of this like multi-million-dollar company now. Like people really think I'm doing pretty well at this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like some sort of, not that he needed any validation to know that he's one of the better guys out there in the world. But that doesn't hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
if anything, it's kind of like a little notch on the belt for him. Like really solidify where he's at is definitely needed and wanted.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm like, gosh, I didn't watch Raw, but and I don't know if you saw it later, but at some point in the night when he was in the back like taking pictures with the belt or whatever. And AJ Styles and the was it Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, they came by and oh congratulations, good job, blah blah blah. And then AJ said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow night. Like kind of like setting up like, oh, is there gonna be a match here? Because they usually did that open challenge thing. So I'd like to see. I mean, obviously I haven't been watching Raw, but I'd watch for that again. I mean, really a time thing, but when Cena was doing it, he was pulling out a lot of good matches with a lot of people, and it kind of showed you, for one, that Cena is actually pretty good when he needs to be, and two, a lot of these other guys are really good. They just don't get to show it often.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Now, I did catch that, the AJ moment, and I would like to actually see AJ and Ricochet go at it. I'll definitely have to, like you, I've not been watching Raw a lot. For me, it's just a time thing, and there's too much talk, not enough wrestling. That's just me.
Yeah.
But thankfully I got the power of Hulu, and I can get right to the action. But I would definitely like to see AJ and Ricochet have a couple matches together. Especially just because both of those guys, they can do phenomenal things.
There it is. But yeah, if they do that, like kind of a little bit of a build up, and then have a real solid one in like SummerSlam, which I guess is 2 months from now. That'd be all right.
Yeah, I'd like to see AJ at SummerSlam, but I want to see Samoa Joe and Ricochet again. Because Ricochet, he put up, all the spots, amazing during that match. Samoa Joe, he's just that rough, like, knock down, drag out type of guy. And then Extreme Rules is coming up. And imagine the things that, those two guys could do, put in one of those matches.
That would be something like, yeah. So I also and I'm not super familiar with it, but I've seen some here and there. Samoa Joe's like some of the history behind him, some of his other matches, really good stuff. He was also actually a tag team with AJ Styles for some amount of time in Ring of Honor. So look it up sometime. Interesting.
Yeah.
because you wouldn't know because they're both like you'd look at it and think, oh, that guy looks almost familiar. Then you realize like, wait, if he gained some weight or if this guy cut his hair or grew his hair out,
Yeah.
it's one of those. But yeah,
those two definitely changed a little bit over the years because I remember watching them through TNA and Impact at the time. So they had some great matches,
which
in that too.
Which I guess kind of like goes into like Daniel Bryan. He's also one of those guys who years ago looked very different.
Oh yeah.
Now he's got all this. So
I'm working on that myself.
Not me. Mine grows in slowly and not so surely. But yeah, so Daniel Bryan and Rowan, that honestly, like, when that duo happened, I thought it was just gonna be one of those short-lived for like a month or so things.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're tag champs and have been for some amount of time.
Yeah.
And there was also a brief period where Daniel Bryan was in he's part of the Wyatt family. So I guess they've dissolved the Wyatt family, but they can't take away the name because Bray Wyatt's still there.
Yeah.
But, so my assumption on this is the whole like since Daniel Bryan had that like massive neck injury or whatever, I think it was a neck injury that took him out for some years.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that maybe they wanted to keep him active, but not so active. So that's where the tag matches come in. So then you're only working like half the match, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you cut down on, his involvement and risk of injury, things like that.
Right. I mean,
you can still have him out there for 15, 20, 30 minutes.
And being the bad guy.
Yeah.
The bad guy, he doesn't have to wow the crowd as much,
Mm-hmm.
He can do that brawling, like, cheat to win style wrestling.
Yeah.
And then
so I remember when they actually put Rowan with him or when they were building that up, and I was like, I didn't think it was going to go anywhere as myself. And then, like you said earlier, I didn't know any of the matches going in, but end up seeing them come out. I was like, oh wow, they're still thinking, and they're the champs. All right, I've definitely missed a few things.
Right, exactly. But it was cool though to see it, and then to see that it kind of worked out. You know what I mean? But then on the other side of the ring, you have Heavy Machinery. Those guys they're a couple of my favorites. Like just because when I saw them in NXT, I remember thinking like, I don't care how well these guys do, I want to see more of them.
Yeah,
like, they're fun to watch,
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that I think Heavy Machinery might have been in the opening match when my mom went with me to her, when we went to her first NXT show during WrestleMania Orlando, so 33.
Mm.
I remember like something's going on and like I'm wondering like how she's gonna take to all this wrestling stuff.
Yeah. No, was that her first time at a wrestling event in general?
Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. I wish WrestleMania was my first show.
Yeah. Well, NXT and then WrestleMania. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we're there and like it's like 2 minutes into it, and it goes for like the pin on somebody, whoever did, and it's like 1, 2, a kick ass. Oh my god, I thought he had him. I'm like, where did this energy come from? I'm like, who are you in this place? But
yeah.
She was super into it by then we were at like Access. She wanted to take pictures with everything. We were at WrestleMania. She's like, oh wow, look, like got the sign for next year. Like it's gonna be in New Orleans. We gotta go to that. I'm like, all right, let's go to New Orleans.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't NXT and WrestleMania combined. It was NXT, and then later on, y'all went to WrestleMania.
It was the NXT takeover the night before WrestleMania.
Okay.
Yeah. So still, for her first 2 shows, those are ones that a lot of people want to go to and can't. Those NXT ones, I don't know if they were still difficult to get tickets for, but the only reason they were difficult was because they would sell out quickly because everybody no, you put in all this money to fly into whatever city, because most people come from far away. Nobody in Orlando for WrestleMania is from Orlando, right?
Yeah.
They're from like, I don't know, Australia and the UK and like various other states or countries. So
Yeah.
everybody tries to get those tickets so they can have them. None of that resale stuff. This isn't the shoe world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they just try to pull them in for themselves, and I'm right there with them, right there on Ticketmaster. I'll take whatever 3 I can get. But anyway, so Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, against Heavy Machinery. I kind of had my ideas of how it was going to end, but it's kind of like the opposite of the Ricochet one, where like the thing that I wanted didn't happen, and then I was like, well, I mean, I get it. It was entertaining throughout the match, though. I mean, it wasn't like match of the night, but there was entertainment involved. So
yeah. And I'll say definitely, like, that was my first time seeing Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
I remember when Ricochet went through the curtains, Otis was sitting there and he was all hyped up. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but I like him. And then like he starts walking out to the front. I'm like, I guess I'm going to get to see him fight now. Yeah. And he goes out there. Tucker, he seems like a very athletic guy himself. He was getting on that turnbuckle and doing moonsault. But Otis, just like when they started doing that whole like Daniel Bryan was giving him those kicks, and he was just getting like beefed up or jacked up or whatever. I thought that was very entertaining, just to see that character, and then when he ended up popping the caterpillar, as they called it. I was like, oh, dude, this guy has got it, because one of my favorite wrestlers back in the day was Sky Too Hotty. He was doing the worm. Yeah. And then as soon as he did that, I was like, all right, now that's amazing. If anything, I don't know if you remember when Scotty and Albert were together, Prince Albert, and they had the Albert doing the worm. They called it the hip hop hippo. But I was like, all right, they've definitely surpassed that. The caterpillar, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, so that guy, they were really good in NXT. I don't think they ever won the titles, but they had some good matches, and they had their was it stakes and weights thing that they were talking like they'd be in the gym like, yeah, it's all about stakes and weights,
Yeah.
All right, cool. Do you? It was working, and it's probably still working. That's why they aren't pushed to the wayside.
Yeah.
Like, who was that? That was like the Revival, which wasn't even on the show. So I guess they're not champions of anything anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Not that I'm aware. I think it was Daniel and Rowan that won. And no, they were Raw. They were Raw champs. Tag team. Because I remember seeing them when I went to Raw several weeks ago.
Look into that, because those guys are pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't remember. Oh yeah, that match ended with like a quick little roll-up pin, one of those throwaway victories, but whatever.
Yeah, a small package from Daniel Bryan on Tucker. Yeah.
And then we moved on to Bayley versus Alexa Bliss, which had Nikki Cross out there, and I haven't seen Nikki Cross on TV in months, like a long time. So in my mind, when I think Nikki Cross, I thought like the mankindish chick that's a little crazy from NXT, hiding out in the dark boiler rooms and stuff. And then I looked at the TV, because like at work we have the AFN, and it's like free on there for whatever.
Yeah.
So I look up and I see that, and I'm like, wait a second, like why is she just looking? Because I looked up and it's like, if you just glanced at it, you might have thought it was just like Molly Holly or something. Because like just
I can see that.
And so I'm like, wait, is that Nikki Cross? Like, I'm thinking like, wait, what happened to her? So
yeah, because that's one of the things that really drew me into Nikki Cross in the first place, was like, she'd come out there full of energy, pulling her hair out.
He was like when it came to Sanity, like that group with Killian Dane and whoever else was in Sanity, uh, I can picture all the guys, but I can't. Alexander Wolf and someone else. But like that quadrant of people or whatever you call 4 people.
Yeah, right.
That
We'll just go say staple.
yeah, like, that stable of people, like the way they all played off of each other in the NXT environment, it was perfect. And then for whatever reason, when they took it out of that, they're like, all right, let's kind of put this piece over here, put this piece over here, adjust this in this way. And it's like, why? Like,
yeah, like you had a good thing, and now you're like ruining it.
Because like they could have just left it as it was, let them, gain some steam over a couple months, get some victories here and there, and then just if an organic change happens, okay, that makes sense. Like when you look at people like Shawn Michaels, who he just kind of would kind of just become a good guy after a while or become a bad guy after a while. Same with like Jericho, they just kind of things just happen,
Yeah.
Over time, you become like more narcissistic, or then you become like the baby face, and then you become like the underhanded tactics guy. But yeah, so I don't know. They should have just left Nikki Cross alone, because when I saw this match, and then I saw that, it kind of made me more thinking about her than this match, which I already didn't care about, because the train for Bayley to me has left the station. I'm done. I'm here. She had her moment. She was fine, but I will say I never thought she was like amazing. Like I wasn't like the huge fan of her, but I thought like, she's good. She's good. I'm not gonna take that away from her. But in like the NXT time, I was like Sasha. I was a Sasha Banks person, right?
Yeah.
In the more modernish times, I'm an Alexa Bliss or Becky Lynch person, right?
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss on the other side, she's that person who like in NXT was just there, and kind of like Tyler Breeze was just there, but then like you give them some time and some attention, and you see like there's something here, like this is a person worth having around. So then Alexa Bliss is winning all these titles, and people are cheering for her, wanting more and more of her. Next thing you know, Bayley is coming out, like she wins the title. People are like, boo, like no Bayley. It's like, people are like, whoa, what happened? When did it? Like, when you screwed her over and made her suck? Like that's not like
like I'll say like that whole NXT thing that was going on. Bayley was my favorite. I enjoyed the character. Did I think she was the best wrestler? No.
Right.
But the character and the fact that she was like her whole gimmick was just a fangirl thing, it made it more believable.
Right. The underdog thing was a good addition to that too. Another little layer to like her matches. It's like, is she gonna win? I mean,
yeah. yeah. You had those things going for it, and now you don't have that. They need to do something else with Bayley. And I agree, Alexa. She's definitely better. I remember her being the little, what was it, a cheerleader or something?
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I have no interest in that at all. But now that they've given her a character that's like all manipulative and
she plays that part very well.
Oh yeah, just a little Miss Priss or whatever. I enjoy it, and you could put Alexa with pretty much anybody that's not like a Charlotte or a Becky, and I think they'll do good with her. And like they can help Alexa, and Alexa can also help them.
Yeah.
Unless they do what they're doing with Nikki Cross. In the case of this match, I feel like Nikki should have been going a little bit more crazy than that one little moment where she tried to get in the ring. I feel like that would have fit her character a little bit better.
So what I would like to see happen now, I'm just gonna put that Bayley thing to the side, let her be champion, and let her figure that out. But I want to see maybe like either like another loss or something by Alexa Bliss because of this Nikki Cross, and then them kind of get into it, and then her bring back the old Nikki Cross, because that,
Oh yeah,
like if they do that, I mean, it's gonna be like, okay, so you took her away just to bring her back, and now she's back, and like, what, are you just gonna do it again? But it would be nice as a way to like get something back in there that's unique, because like, why have her be just another person that is like every other person that doesn't have a character or personality or whatever?
Yeah, and like they could play it off like a learning lesson for Nikki Cross, and then just let her stay crazy. You know, crazy's good.
And then let's see, wrapping up that one. That ended with like the belly to Bailey to belly, or what, however that's said. Which
No, it was
well, I'm just saying, like the final move, like, because there was some altercation in there somehow, and then Alexa Bliss ended up taking like the slam, like after she had already been like hit or something. But the thing I was gonna say is just like, I don't like Bailey's finishing move, because it's just, when you look at it, it's like, okay, so it's almost as if this person just fell down, like not from any real height, like, and Bailey isn't like an opposing force. If Nia Jax did that,
oh
like,
yeah, I could expect somebody to die.
Yeah, but okay, that's a finishing move, right? Like if Taka Michinoku or something came out there and then no, it doesn't work. It's just like, that's a setup for something off the top rope if you're small. So
yeah, they could. She could definitely use a new finisher, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but again, like it was not high on my card of what I thought was the best match.
Not at
I'll
all.
say it was a little bit more. It flowed better than the Becky and Lacey match.
It did. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it had that going for it. But
so they did have a steady stream of things happening, that made sense and wasn't clunky, and they rode that through. And then we had Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, which I don't think anybody wanted to see.
It was not my favorite match.
One of the hardest things I did yesterday was watching that match. Like, I didn't want to see it at all. The highlight was Shane McMahon in those pine green ones. That had my attention. I was like, man, I have those, and I had to go through a lot to get them.
And I remember, like, before, as I was watching that, I told you, I was like, yeah, Shane's got some nice shoes on right now. Like, for me, that was also the thing that stood out the most. And I got to thank you for that, because, before, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago, I probably would not have picked that up.
Right. You wouldn't have thought anything of it. But yeah, so, and honestly, I don't even remember anything really about this match other than just like the big guy brawling style. Remember, like what we were talking about earlier, like they had like the big guy earlier WWF thing. This is a match out of that era, right?
Yeah.
And now I like Drew McIntyre. He's believable as a bad guy, and believable as someone who can hurt you, and he's just an all-around good dude when it comes to that, right?
Yeah.
But the whole wrestling thing, because he just kind of makes you want to pay attention to him. Whereas like Roman Reigns is kind of like, they shoved him down your throat for so long. Like, hey, you like this? Like, you like this? Trust me, you love it. It's great. And people are like, I don't think I do. So now it's like, I mean, it sucks to say it, but I'll say it. Like, the only time people really cheered him was when he had his like the cancer thing going on. Which, I'm not gonna not knocking him for it or anything. It's but I'm just saying, like, it sucks that like the person they're building up to be like the face of this company or whatever only got cheered because things were going terribly for him in his real life. But
I like to call that the Cena effect.
Say that again.
I like to call that the Cena effect.
Oh yeah,
because like Cena is the same thing with Cena for a while. But yeah, it does suck that that he is getting shoved down the throat. And like the guy is he is talented. I'll say that. But again, you don't. The fans just don't like it. It'd be better if it was a heel.
See, okay, here's my thing. Like with Cena, he's like good all around, right? Like when it's time for him to put on like a 5-star match, he'll do it. When he needs to get out there and be on the microphone and get you riled up about whatever, or make his opponent look bad, like he's gonna do it. If he wants to make you laugh, he's gonna do it. Roman Reigns is like he gets out there, like, this is my yard now. It's like, no, it's the Undertaker's. It's like, I'm the big. Like, no, you're not. Nobody cares. That's how that goes. Like, I've heard the loudest boos ever, like after his matches, right? And even last night, it sounded like people were booing him when he came out. So I'm just like, this is why is this
happening? And honestly, I feel like this just might have been my TV, but I feel like as soon as he came out and the boos started coming out, I honestly felt like the volume on my TV went down.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it was like the crowd mics were kind of turned down a little bit.
It's kind of like the opposite of like what they used to do with like the Goldberg chants. Like, well, let's kind of get this a little louder. So probably somebody speaking into like the mic, like Goldberg. Where's that crowd? As they show like everybody's sitting there like, where's that coming from?
Who's this Goldberg guy?
Yeah.
But the match I thought subpar. And there's a count out rule in these matches, and I feel like Roman was chasing Shane for a good 30 minutes outside of the ring just to get hit by Drew once he comes over the barricade.
Yeah.
So I just could not get into a lot of spears, a lot of Superman punches. It's just a lot of what you see in every one of his matches.
Yeah,
I just couldn't get into it.
Like, don't get me wrong, like you don't have to have like a wide range of moves to really like make a good match, right? I mean, Stone Cold he got by on so much. Mankind got by on so much because like they took that part and like, okay, I don't do so much in this area, but I'm gonna turn it up over here. He turned it up in anywhere other than sucking, and that is not the way you want to tell it. And then on that, we move on.
Yes.
So, co-main event, I guess, maybe?
Yeah.
Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. Kofi Kingston in the, what do you call it, the Nike BBs, like the self-lacing shoes.
Oh, those are self-lacing?
That's what those were, yeah. Like, they have the buttons on, like, the inside, on the inside of the shoe. Not inside, but, like, the inner area of it. Like, And so I was like, medial side, I think. I think that's what they call that. But anyways, there's also
on that shoe for a second.
There's also
I gotta say, I really enjoyed that shoe. And like I said earlier, in one of your comments, I'm a sucker for blue, and those things that ice blue and white, I loved it. I love those shoes.
So you actually got a blue shirt on now. Kind of reminds me of those shoes that I did a little opening on yesterday.
Right.
I got to do one of those today after this is all said and done.
And I look forward to it.
But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
So this one, all right. So I'm going to be completely honest with this Kofi Kingston thing. I was hoping that he would have the title for like a decent period of time, but part of me felt like they're just gonna put this on him just so he can lose it. Like who was it? Zack Ryder, when like he won that big match, won the IC title in this ladder match at WrestleMania, Dallas 32, and then like lost it the next night.
Next night on Raw, yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, I hope they don't do that because like there's been too much buildup for this to just get shut down.
Yeah.
So when I
like to see that right out.
Had it, I was happy about that.
Yeah, I enjoyed Kofi. I mean, great talent. Honestly, I think he should have had that belt probably back in, I would say 2009, 2010. That's just how I feel about that. the Dolph Ziggler and this match, I thought it was good. I feel like Dolph needed the match more than Kofi did.
Yeah.
Because I've not actually heard a lot about Dolph
lately
over the past couple years of watching. And I thought the match was good. I gotta say, it was actually my favorite match of the night. Of everything else that had went on.
Yeah, it was really good. It was just, because for me the thing was like, I'm not a huge cage match guy, like that style cage, like the standard cage, right? Because like the announcers were saying, it's very limiting, and so there's not always a whole lot that goes on in there.
Yeah.
The Hell in a Cells, the Elimination Chambers, they have like other aspects to it to make it a little different. But this one, so to make it good, like when you have a good cage match, that means people really like put some effort into it. That's how I feel, right?
Yeah.
So I was watching this, and there were some moments where I was like, okay, like it drug just a little bit. I mean, I got what was going on, but you know, they kind of mess around, like, okay, we'll work over on the leg for a little bit or something. And it's like, okay, like you can't hold him in this position forever, but we'll see what happens. You know, and then there wasn't any somewhat surprisingly, there wasn't anything off like the top of the cage. Well, I mean, even if it wasn't off the top, like really, they didn't use it a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like in the way.
Yeah, I think they only got up there and slugged it out like once.
Yeah, like as far as like normal cage match highlights, there weren't where they actually used the cage. I mean, there weren't any that I recall. You know, so it was overall it was still a good match. I just wonder, will there be a third? Because sometimes there's like when titles aren't involved, usually it's like win over here, third match figures it out.
Yeah.
To my understanding, yeah, because like Kofi won the last one, but from the clips, because I didn't know it from the clips, it was like all right, a little toss up there on how he won, sure, but he won this one, right? Like he just straight up won. I mean, his dive out of the ring, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but like when his leg hit the rope, and then he just kind of like crumbled. It's like, was that a strategic thing? So he didn't like dive into the front row, or was he just kind of like not thinking about it and just hit the rope? I don't know.
I feel like it was a little bit of a botch.
Yeah, because the way he fell, like he's like with a lot of face.
Yeah. I'm glad his face was there to stop that fall, though.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's what you want, guy.
But I'll say, as a finish for a cage match, I thought it was pretty good. I've never seen that type of finish, so seeing him like dive out of the cage and take the chance to do that type of landing, yeah, sure. Like I enjoyed the finish. I thought it was set up really good. You think Dolph's going to get out, and I thought Dolph was going to win it at that point, and then Kofi just jumps out. I'm like, all right, did not see that coming.
Which is the same thing that people always say. It's like, why is it like they can climb a ladder so fast, or they can climb a cage so fast, like early on, or even in the middle of a match, like, oh man, he's almost up there. Then they run up there like a squirrel up a tree. But then when it's like that, it's like, oh my god, he's not gonna make it. On the subject of good matches, though, one thing that I like a good tag match, right? DX versus Legacy, which was Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, I guess. Hell in a Cell 2009. Definitely suggest that one to you. It was
I'll definitely look it up.
It was definitely a well done match. But anyway, so I'm curious to see what happens from here because like Ziggler's really good, you know, but they build him up just to like let him put somebody else over, and then he disappears for a while, and he comes back, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna build you up so that this guy can win." Yeah.
It seems like a great theme. I'd like for them to break that.
Yeah. And so, unfortunately, that isn't what closed the show, and what did close was Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, and another match that nobody wanted to see, which happened. Let's see, what I'd say. I'm gonna say nobody really cared about Bailey versus Alexa Bliss, unless Bliss was going over. Nobody, the Roman Reigns McIntyre thing, and Seth versus Corbin. So yeah, 3 matches. And Lynch versus Evans. So that's almost half the matches that people could have done without.
Yeah.
Technically, if you don't count the first match because it was on the pre-show, that's actually 4 out of 8. So it is half. Simple math. But double check it if you want. Anyway,
your math is spot on. My little Southern education proves that.
But so Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin I feel like that has happened a million times. Like at least a million. And it does get better.
One time.
It's not like you can have HBK versus Undertaker at a couple pay-per-views, and it's going to hold your attention. So, oh, this is a casket match, and it's pretty awesome. This is a standard match. It's pretty awesome. This is Hell in a Cell. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
This is retirement versus streak. Like, it's pretty awesome. Like, no matter what, those guys are going to deliver. Now, I don't have anything against Baron Corbin's, like, ability, right? But I feel like they need to kind of, like, not adjust his character, but kind of, like, move him into, like, a different kind of thing. Because him just doing this, like, hey, I can make rules here. Yeah, I'm going to make rules that I'm going to make matches and I'm going to win. That whole thing, it's like, you can't do that every week for like years and it stay fresh.
Yeah.
You kind of reinvent yourself, but if you can stay that guy, but you just got to kind of figure something out. Like you can be like the Undertaker. He's been the Undertaker minus like a couple years when he was like a biker. Like he's been that guy since 91. Was it 91? Either way, he's been that guy for a while. No, 90, because I remember 15 was the 25 years. So yeah, and since then, he's had some things where he kind of like he had the Ministry of Darkness for a while. He was kidnapping Stephanie for a while. He was what else? He was just like the Undertaker, the bad guy. He was the Undertaker. I don't know if he was a good guy or people were just cheering him. Either way,
we're just cheering the guy.
He's been,
he's different versions of Undertaker, but he's still the Undertaker.
Right.
And Baron could definitely do that, but they just need to figure out how to actually utilize him better. Because like you're saying, you can't go out there and do the same thing every week and expect, magically fans are going to enjoy him or, be excited about a match.
Give it time.
Yeah.
And also, so there's also often another side of people's character that they, like personality-wise, like what's internal to them, that they don't always show because they have to be the person that they need on TV.
Yeah.
But I went to, if you ever go to WrestleMania Access, it's like a big, kind of like a museum sort of thing for like a bunch of wrestling things over WrestleMania weekend, obviously. And so in the back, usually they have a match or they have a ring set up. They'll have matches. Sometimes they're on TV, sometimes they're not. And one of the matches that I saw once was Baron Corbin and remember that Dean Ambrose match we were talking about the other day with him versus Juice Robinson?
Yeah.
I showed you a picture of him biting the guy's like eyebrow or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it was those two together. Like at the time he was called CJ Parker, not Juice Robinson.
Okay, I remember that name now.
But both of those guys were on one tag team, and like just the comedic value between those two, like as the Parker guy was trying to like coach him through the match, and it's like, "Oh, here, get out of here! I'll do it. Tag me in." And he gets beat. I was like, "All right, get back in here! You do what I said to do."
Yeah.
This whole thing, this whole back and forth thing, and I was like, man. Like I'm curious to see where these guys are going because they seem pretty entertaining.
Well, that's the beauty of a dark match, though. They're more free to do.
Right. But they have the personality that makes you think like, okay, this person's cool. Like I want to see how they're used.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, it was like a week or something later, news went out that right after WrestleMania, CJ Parker requested to be released and then became released and went on to become a huge name in Japan.
Yeah.
So good for him. Just like that was when I caught on to seeing him, and I was like, oh, this guy's okay.
Yeah.
For greener pastures for sure. He's a very good name. But this match, though, Seth versus Corbin was just. I went in expecting bad, and then I got exactly what I wanted. Well, exactly what I expected.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody wanted that.
Yeah, that's like. Okay.
But yeah, it's I thought the choice of using Lacey. I thought the choice of using her as a referee was good because again, nobody wanted her in that match earlier, and then look, you end up getting her again, which kind of adds to you want somebody out there nobody's gonna like. They hit that one on the head. Yeah. There's no way that she could really mess that role up.
Yeah, she on the beginning and the end of the episode. It's like a Lacey sandwich kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. But man, what a show!
Yeah, and it didn't taste good. That's
right.
but and then like Lacey Evans and Becky Lynch things like once they like mentioned Becky like, oh man, this is Becky Lynch's boyfriend. It's like she's gonna come out, isn't she? And then they started then there was like that normal like, oh wait, like as has happened before. It's like, oh, he's about to get counted out. No count outs. How about that? Like, oh, we're doing that thing again.
Yeah.
So something is this just gonna end up as falls count anywhere or something or what?
Yeah.
Like
which that would have been awesome if they did let it become a falls count anywhere. Like to have seen what would have happened with that.
But Jesus, I'm looking at this now, like 18 minutes.
It felt so much longer than that. It really did. And I couldn't tell how long it was going because my network was messed up, and like the timer at the bottom every time I hit up on my controller to see how much was left of the show, it'd still be stuck right in the middle. So I'm like, I don't know how much longer this match has got to go. But again, and that's another thing I didn't like when you brought up Becky, how they're going to start using their relationship as part of the story, and like it's just cheap.
Yeah. It didn't work for Cena and the Bella chick. Why would it work for them? It did work for Goldust and Marlena though.
Yeah,
but that was different. That was the golden age of things. Unintended, always intended. But
Terry Runnels, that's who it was. Yeah.
But I just look at it and I'm like, why is this? What? No one needs to hear about this, right? Because I don't know, it's a weird time when they like to put a lot of like the reality into wrestling, but still like pretend that it's still equally not real.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, like this is happening. And then next thing you know, it's like you see Kane like driving through like some city on his like, election tour. It's like not the big red machine at all.
Nah.
He's not injured.
Oh no, he is Republican.
But yeah, I'm just like, well, okay, whatever. So put your relationship out there, do whatever you got to do, because somewhere somebody's gonna care about that. But both of these people have a whole bunch of fans already.
Yeah,
I'm one of them. You got a couple shirts over there with their names on them. Maybe I'll wear one of those later.
All right.
Anyways, but yeah.
Speaking of shirts, I noticed you got the Bullet Club on right now.
Yeah, I needed something to put on because, like, I was like, well, because I came home and it was like crazy hot out here, like more humid, really. And so take a shower real quick before all this because I felt nasty from walking back. And then, because after when I hit you with like that message, I was like, yeah, I should be home pretty soon. Then like all of a sudden like there's like this massive thing of traffic happened, and so I just like I was like, all right, hey, I'm just gonna get out and walk because like this isn't clearing up. And from
Yeah.
it was probably like a 15-ish minute walk. You know, maybe a little longer because I was carrying like 2 boxes of shoes and it was like all the degrees outside. So I'm like, man, this sucks a lot. Like, I gotta get home so I can get online, you know?
Right.
Start doing it. But it was cool though. It was fun. Like sit here and talk about this. So we'll have to do it again on I don't know. Either whenever there's whenever there's another wrestling thing or just something in general. Is anything happening soon? Spider-Man comes out soon. Maybe after I see that and you see that. I don't know. Well,
yeah, I'm down to talk about that kind of stuff too because like I think I've seen every single Marvel film that's come out. I don't think I've missed one. I usually see them all within like the first week. Typically, I try to catch them opening weekend or whatever. But yeah, I could definitely do something like that, or we can jump back in this wrestling because I mean, there's a lot to cover in this.
Oh yeah,
I've been watching it since I was little.
Even if it's like going back and it's like the New Japan stuff, like I could find something like, hey, like go watch this, or you find something like, hey, like I just saw this, like watch that, you know?
Yeah.
And talk about that. But yeah, there's no shortage of things. Like we got enough similar interests that we're good. Music, that's another one, you know? Talk about how Goldfinger and Real Big Fish flip out these albums that nobody notices.
Well, that's kind of what happens when you're a ska band in this day and age.
Oh, yeah, it is. Jeez, I do like ska a lot though.
Yeah, I love it.
I was
like one of my favorite shows I've been to. Probably my second favorite show I've been to was when we went and seen Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, and Zebrahead.
Yeah, oh yeah. That was we've seen saw a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we've seen MXPX.
I was thinking about were you let's see, you weren't were you with us when we saw Mindless Self-Indulgence? Because I remember Stokes and
Sil.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember talking to Sil about that. Was that when we oh man, what was the name of that band?
With like the painting and like the art?
No, I'm trying to remember the name of the Clutch. Was Mindless Self-Indulgence the Clutch show as well?
No, because like the Clutch show, I mean they were both in the same place. They're both in Norwich at the waterfront.
Yeah.
But the Clutch tickets like I gave you because I bought them and I didn't realize the dates were backwards because of how England does their dates. I was like, oh yeah, I'll see Clutch. And then I bought the tickets and I'm like, wait a second. I feel like this is right in the middle of like that time off I just put in for or whatever.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and like, yep, I'm like, hey, you want these Clutch tickets?
Yeah, because I remember going to that show. I went to so many shows while I was over there though. A lot of them kind of bleed together. Right. I can't remember who I was with any of them. Well, I mean, I remember certain ones, but some of them just kind of, you know.
The MXPX one definitely stands out because, like, remember driving down to London, yelling at those 11-year-olds.
Dude, I was telling that story the other day.
And then getting there, and I remember like crowd surfing that night, and it's like I was up like through like a whole song or something. I remember at one point I was on stage, and I'm like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
I jumped back into the crowd. It was a good time, man. Like, really good time. And it was like one of those like small. I think it was at the Underground, maybe. I forget where it was because there were so many venues in London. Like,
no, it was definitely the Underground. I do remember going to that because I went to the Underground once for a show, and that was with you. It was you and Mahosky, and I can't remember. Was anybody else with us?
I know that the MXPX Chavez was there. Old Brittany.
Oh, remember that game that we played? We made rules for. It's like see how long we can go without bringing up Wahosky before she brings up Wahosky. When she comes to pasta, she says like three sentences in 30 seconds, and we don't say nothing at all. She's like, so I talked to Wahosky.
Oh my God. Man, yeah.
Man, that's some good times.
Yeah. Man, when I get back, like well, I don't know where he's gonna be living. Maybe he'll have to come like our way, because it'll be two of us on the east side. Like he'll just have to come to us.
Yeah.
What he's doing, because I know he's not in Florida, but whatever.
Yeah, he's in Colorado now.
It's always oh man. But hey, it was good doing this. Like I said, we'll do it again. But for now, it's not late, but I gotta get to these other videos. Oh, that I was supposed to be charging this while this was happening. Didn't do that. So
good job. Yeah, I've got mine going now because I was able to actually put something out. So but yeah, we'll definitely get together. Marvel, games, movie, music, that could be another one.
Yeah.
So yeah. Catching up like this, it was really fun.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've been looking forward to it ever since we decided that we were going to do this.
Yeah. So and then it happened. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what's going on from here. They can just, like I said, it doesn't take but practically no time at all. It doesn't matter like the time zone difference thing.
Yeah.
But I mean,
as long as we can finish up by about this time, should be good, because I'll be getting up probably about like 6 hours from now. So
all right, cool. And on if we do this during the week, like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, like I'd probably be able to start like an hour to 2 hours earlier. So it'll just we'll figure it out, man.
Yeah.
All right,
man. Hey, it's good talking to you.
Yeah, same to you, man. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, there it is. All right, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, see ya.